If you've been following John Mayer's gear for a couple of years now, you will most likely be familiar with the guitar known as Honey. This is a PRS 594 that comes with a middle humbucker as well as two coil splitting options. This guitar is a fan favorite for a very good reason. It sounds fantastic. Primarily used with Dead & Company, this guitar kind of is the spiritual successor in a way to the Super Eagle. The Super Eagle 1 and 2 were John's kind of main Dead & Company guitars, and now this 594 known as Honey is really the new guitar that over the past couple of tours John has mainly been relying on, well, that and the Silver Sky for his tones. But posted earlier today in the PRS Forum for Private Stock Friday, we see something really interesting that might be a look at John's next version of Honey. Now, this image of this 594 that you're seeing on your screen was posted by Miko just earlier today, October 21st, again as part of Private Stock Friday. And no, you are not looking at John's guitar. This is a brand new 594 that is built to the specs exactly of John's, at least it looks like it, and I had to even cross-reference the actual flame in the top to make sure that it is in fact a completely different guitar. And I don't know what to say. This is just really interesting because I don't think you can just call up PRS and be like, hey, I want a 594 built to match John's Honey guitar. I don't think you can just do that. And if you actually look at a different picture here, now this shot here that you're seeing on your screen was posted by Miko on September 23rd. You're seeing this guitar being built. Obviously, it doesn't have the pickups or any of the electronics installed. But if you look at the neck, and this is kind of the key point to this whole video, if you look at the neck, and what's written in tape is H-O-N. You can probably assume what the last two letters are. It has Honey written on the neck of the guitar. Now, I could maybe see someone could just call up PRS and order a private stock version of Honey, but they wouldn't put that taping and that name, I don't think, on the guitar. Now, this is what really has me thinking that, is this a teaser of seeing John's new version of Honey? Now, if you follow my train of thought here, we have the very last Dead & Company tour coming up. We know that Honey essentially has, again, taken over for the Super Eagle. It's kind of become John's new #1 humbucker guitar to use with Dead & Company, and it could be fitting, perhaps, that for the final Dead & Company tour, he gets a new version of Honey, Honey 2 or Honey 2.0, whatever you would want to call it, but he gets a new guitar ordered in time for the tour to practice with and bond with, and then, next thing you know, on stage this upcoming year, we'll see him using a brand new guitar. That's kind of where my head is at right now. Now, again, it is possible that someone did just call up PRS and ask for them to build a 594, essentially the same as John's version of Honey. Even the top is extremely similar. Like the flame pattern and everything, it's super tight and the exact same color as well. This is essentially as close as anyone could get to Honey without having that actual guitar, pretty much. You know, maybe it was an artist or a friend of PRS called them up and requested one as well, but I don't know. This just kind of seems, it seems to be one of those things where I just don't really think that is the likely outcome of what we're seeing here. I don't think this is what's likely going on. If I had to at least kind of guess, you know, the tape, clearly it's got Honey written on the guitar. I think that it's very likely that we are looking at John's new version of Honey. That's at least where I'm going with here. Again, there's different possibilities, but come on. You know, it looks just bang on to Honey, the finish, everything, the exact same specs. I don't think I've ever seen a 594 with 3 humbuckers on it either from PRS. I don't think I've ever seen that. If you guys have, and this is something you've seen from the factory before, please, you know, link me to it in the comments down below. But yeah, so I literally just Googled 3 humbucker PRS 594, and really the only thing that comes up is John and Honey. That's the only thing. You have a semi-hollow DC 594, okay, but that's with soap bars, doesn't count. And then you have just John and Honey, regular 594s, another photo of John with Honey. Scroll down further, more 594s, more pictures of John with Honey. So I think it's safe to say that this is something PRS doesn't normally do, or really hasn't done since John has taken hold of Honey and changed it from a standard 594 layout. That's what I'm going with here. And again, just kind of basing all of this that we're seeing in today's video on, okay, something must be going on, or if PRS is going to start making Honey Spec 594s a thing, well, sign me up, and I will gladly purchase one, because I've always kind of wanted to get a 594. My friend Ahmad just bought a 594 a couple months ago and is absolutely in love with it, so after he's been raving about it too, it's kind of like, man, I've got the 594 bug a little bit, and, PRS, if you're making Honey versions just right from the factory, well, you'll be hearing from me very soon then. I haven't seen anything like this from PRS except for John's own version, which again was a standard 594 before he got it modified. And if you guys want me to touch on kind of the story of Honey up until today's date, let me know in the comments down below. In the John Mayer Gear Launch podcast, which is a podcast I've done with a bunch of my friends, we collaborated on it and stuff like that. We touch on the 594 known as Honey in the Super Eagle episode that we did, but that was it's a long episode and it's maybe a little bit outdated, so I could update you guys on this channel if you want, but I don't know. This is really interesting, and just the timing with a new Dead & Company tour coming up, the final Dead & Co tour, I don't know. Is this John's next guitar that he's going to use for Dead & Company? Is this the new version of Honey that we're seeing? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I just saw this today, and it was Christopher who actually posted this in the John Mayer Gear Launch on Facebook, so massive shout out to him for sharing this with us and even alerting us to being like, hey, something's going on at the private stock at PRS. This was just posted. So, yeah, really interesting, and I just wanted to highlight that for you guys. Again, just let me know your comments and everything down below. Greatly helps the algorithm as well, all that stuff, so it's really appreciated. And as always, you guys, we'll see you on the next one.
Anyway, go ahead and click the subscribe button if you like what you see.